what's up, Dragon Brood? One of the new abilities from Duskmourn is Manifest Dread. And I wasn't sure how this was going to play because there's some older cards that care about like disguise and whatever, right? So we have a few face down things that from older sets could still work here. But I think this is going to be a deck that's mostly focused on stuff from Duskmourn with just a couple of cards from older sets, mostly because Manifest Dread is just really good. Like, getting your choice of the top two cards increases the odds that you're actually going to put a creature down as a 2/2 that you could turn face up. And the new cards that care about Manifest Dread just have a lot of value attached to them. So, let's get into it. We're going to start with Growing Dread. Now, this is an enchantment, but it does have flash, which is super nice. But it's a green and a blue, and when it enters, you get to Manifest Dread. So, right off the top, you get to decide which of these is going to be a 2/2. What I like about that is you can play this during your opponent's end step, get a 2/2, and now all of your mana is available if you want to turn that thing face up, potentially. Not a small thing, really. But whenever you turn a permanent face up, it gets a +1/+1 counter. So if you have any type of creature under there, it's automatically going to be bigger because you have Growing Dread. Even better, that these are good in multiples. So then you turn something up and it gets 2 counters, right? So this is a card you don't mind having extras of. Now, we do have some boring cards in here. We're going to be playing some Lightning Strikes because, you know, early creatures we're afraid of. And some Obliterating Bolt because, again, you got to get rid of some creatures. But then we have Oblivious Bookworm. This is also a blue and a green for a 2/3. Just a quality body on a 2/3. And then you can draw a card during your end step. You don't have to. It says you may. But if you do, you discard a card unless a permanent entered the battlefield face down under your control this turn. Or you turn to permanent face up this turn. So if you're doing anything with manifesting, either face down or face up, you just get a free card every turn. Like, literally, just a free card. Worst case scenario, you can take a card anyway, just to dig to what you want, and then just discard something. So yeah, like this a lot. We're also playing Overgrown Zealot, which is in another list that we already have on the channel. So I think by the time you watch this, I don't know, there's a lot of content coming out for Duskmourn right now. So yeah, again, like, subscribe, all the good stuff so you don't miss all these other deck videos. But this is an 0/4, which is nice. Big body. But the fact that you can also, as its second ability, tap it to add 2 mana to turn something face up means that you can pretty much have whatever you want face up when this is on the battlefield, which is great. Love that. One of those things could be a Pyrotechnic Performer. And this has a 2 mana 3/2, but if you play it as a disguised creature, so face down, and you turn it face up, whenever it turns face up, or another creature you control is turned face up, that creature deals its damage equal to its power to an opponent. Or to each opponent, but you're only going to have one in 1v1. Now, the thing that this is good at, we often think about this card, okay, well, it's got to turn face up to do its thing. There might be turns where you just want this face up already, so you can spend your mana turning other things face up and getting those damage triggers to go off, especially if those things are already turning over with the +1/+1 on them or whatever. Like, lots of bonus ability to be had here with this card. This could end up being one of the potential finishers in the deck, which is super nice. I don't mind it at all. Getting into some of the new cards, however, we do have an Aberrant Oculus. I say that as we hadn't talked about a new card yet. We talked about 2 other new ones already, but 3 technically. But this is actually a 3 mana 5/5. It's an eye, so we get one of those every few years. But as an additional cost to cast this spell, exile 6 cards from your graveyard. Obviously, this isn't going to be easy to do on turn 3 because we don't have much in our graveyard yet. Now, we do have stuff like the Bookworm that can facilitate this a little bit, but not really necessary. We're looking to get this into play face down a few different ways, and then just turn it face up for 3 mana. That's what we would hope to do. But it does have flying, and then at the beginning of each of your opponent's upkeeps, you get to Manifest Dread. That's kind of like a weird thing that happens during your opponent's turn, but maybe it's just keeping value off you from turning a thing face up on your turn. I have no idea. But it's a 5/5, and it flies, so your opponent's going to have to deal with it. Otherwise, you're just getting free value every turn, which is super fantastic. There's also another card that gives us another face-down card, and that's Cryptic Coat. And I consider this and the Windbreaker, I think it is, from Duskmourn, but Cryptic Coat just makes way more sense because the thing just can't be blocked. +1/+0, And it allows you to effectively, for 5 mana, well, 2 during your opponent's end step to pick it up, and then on your turn, play it again, and just keep getting a face down thing. So if you want to trigger all those things that care about having more face down stuff, or the opportunity to turn things face up, this is a card you can just keep replaying. And wherever you put it on, again, is unblockable. And that's actually super nice. One of the other new cards, though, we're going to take a look at is Huntwood Shiver. This is a colorless green-green, so 3 mana for a 3/3 Beast Mutant. When it attacks, so not when it enters, but when it attacks, you get 2 Manifest Dread. So again, you get to look at your top 2, you get your choice of one and put down as a 2/2 creature. But on the cheap, for a green and a colorless, you can turn a face down thing face up if it's a creature card. That's super damn good. Like, that's 2 mana just to turn anything face up means that Oculus that we were thinking about playing 3 for, well, now you can just do it with 2. Right? That's super fantastic. So yeah, this should be a lot of fun. Now, it is only a 3/3, so you can't rely on getting it into combat all that often, but sometimes you might just run it into combat just to try to dig for something, and then at instant speed turn the thing face up, right? That's possible. Or maybe it just sits back, and your whole goal is to just, everything you get face down from all these manifest triggers, you're just going to keep paying 2 and turning things face up. That's a realistic possibility as well. Another old card, though, is Vanar, Evolved Enigma, 2 colorless, blue-green. We're playing 2 of these in the list. It's a 3/4 Elf Ooze Wizard. Always thought that was a weird combination of creature types. But at the beginning of combat on your turn, you choose one of these. You either cloak a card from your hand, so you take a card, put it face down, or you put a +1/+1 on each colorless creature you control, which is basically all your face down things. There's going to be situations where both of these abilities are good, right? Sometimes you just need to build up your board. You have lands in your hand that are going to waste or whatever. Cool. You just turn them into 2/2s, possibly bigger. Or maybe you already have a couple of things that have manifested over the last 2 turns. So you draw Vanar, and you're like, cool. During the attack step, I'm just going to put +1/+1s on these. Now I'm attacking with 3/3s or 4/4s or whatever the case may be. The other card, though, that we've only played, I believe, in one list on this channel is Yurus, Roar of the Old Gods. Now, Yurus is a cool card because it's 2 colorless, red-green, so a 4 mana 4/4. It is a Centaur Druid. Other creatures you control have haste, so all those things we get with Manifest Dread or whatever can just attack, which is awesome. And then whenever 1 or more face-down creatures you control deal damage to a player, you get to draw a card. So it does say 1 or more, so if you get through with 3 of them, you're still only drawing 1 card. Not a lot we can do about that, unless you have something that's double strike, because then that damages the opponent, then the others damage at the same time. It's kind of the only way to really get around that. But the real thing that you want to play this for is whenever a face-down creature you control dies, return it to the battlefield face down, unless its owner's control, under its owner's control, unless it's a, wait, I read that wrong. My bad. Whenever a face-down creature, man, I'm recording way too many videos today. This is like the 6th video, deck video I've done. Whenever a face-down creature you control dies, return it to the battlefield face down under its owner's control. If it's a permanent card, then turn it face up. So what this means is that thing that dies that's face down, if it's a spell, it just, whatever, turn comes back as a 2/2. But if it's a permanent, be it a land or a creature or an artifact, then you just get it face up. So for free, you can just block and get a thing. Like, Yurus is really sick, especially if you have multiple things that are just going to be making free 2/2s for extra value. This is exactly what you're going to be wanting here. Like, this card should be doing some real work in here alongside Vanar. And it's possible, I will say, that you may actually just leave these face down and you want your, but we don't even have that many spells. It's almost all creature permanents, but if they do end up staying face down, well, Vanar can still keep pumping them up. So there's nothing wrong with that either. As for the land, we are playing some Verge lands. You're going to keep seeing these in a lot of deck lists. People wonder, should I be playing these new lands? Should I craft them? Yes, absolutely. If they're in color combinations you like to play, just craft them. You're going to use them. They're good. They're basically basic land plus. I don't know how else to tell you this, but you should. But yeah, if you're looking to do the manifest thing, face down stuff, this is probably one of the better builds you're going to get. I looked into stuff like Atrata and going down that road, but the cards that support it aren't as good. And realistically, I think you have to work harder. If you're going to go down that road, I think you're better off just doing Assassin straight up and getting incidental value, but not trying to maximize the face down thing. Whereas this list, I believe, is doing all the face down things that you want. I'll also say, like always, you should like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the video, all that good stuff, because we have more deck videos coming. We have way more stuff coming about helping you craft and set up things for Duskmourn, and there's just going to be a lot. Duskmourn has a lot of cool stuff going on. But that's all I have for you for now. We will see you next time.